A lockdown. You know, that word is supposed to make us feel secure. It's this official procedure, this protocol that's meant to put a wall between us and some danger that's lurking outside. Yeah, the whole point is to create this safe zone. We lock the doors, we kill the lights, and we just hunker down, trusting that those walls are going to form this impenetrable barrier. You know, a little bubble of security.
So what happens when that very procedure, the one that was designed to protect you, ends up trapping you? Trapping you with the exact thing you were supposed to be hiding from? Well, that is the terrifying reality we're going to explore today.
We're going to dig into 3 chilling, first-hand accounts where that safe zone became a cage. We'll kick things off in a high school basement, then move to a pitch-black locker room, and we'll finish up in a hotel room that was, well, not quite as empty as it seemed. And then we're going to ask, what does this all really mean for how we think about safety?
Okay, our first story. It starts in a place the students called the chamber. Basically a couple of classrooms down in a high school basement. 2 friends figure a lockdown is the perfect excuse to mess around, and boy, are they about to find out how wrong they are. So they slip out of their classroom, probably grinning, thinking they're going to have the run of the place. But the second they open the door to the main floor, all that fun just evaporates. It is completely dark. This is not a drill. Something is very, very wrong. And then a figure just materializes out of the shadows. It's not a teacher. It's not anyone they recognize. It's a stranger. He spots them, and in a split second, the 2 students just bolt, scrambling back to the basement. Their only thought? Hide. And the only place they can think of is the bathroom.
So just picture this. They're crammed into a bathroom stall, lights are off, and it is dead silent. Then they hear the bathroom door creak open, footsteps, and then this ragged, heavy breathing right on the other side of their stall door. One of the kids, totally terrified, whispers to his friend, and in a room that silent, a whisper might as well be a scream.
The man starts banging on their stall door, they scramble under the dividers, burst out of the bathroom, and just start pounding on their classroom door. Thankfully, their teacher yanks them inside. And that's when the friend reveals the horrifying detail he saw. The man had a gun. The intruder banged on their classroom door a couple more times and then just disappeared. About an hour later, the police showed up and got everyone out. The school, of course, beefed up its security, but the armed man who was locked inside the school with them, was never seen again.
Okay, let's move on to our second story. And this one kind of flips the script, because we're seeing it from the perspective of a retired police officer from New Jersey. He calls it the single most disturbing call of his entire 20-year career, a lockdown at a middle school.
He gets to the school, and right away he sees a suspicious white van parked out back. So he goes in through a rear door into a school that is just completely dark. He's got his flashlight out, and he's moving carefully towards the boys' locker room. A space with no windows, just total blackness. He's literally walking into the unknown. Once he's inside, the air is just thick with tension. All he can hear is the low hum of a fan and something else, these little dings, faint scratching sounds, and they're coming from inside the lockers. He actually admitted he was too scared to even announce he was there at first. So he finally musters up the courage and yells, "Police!" And the silence is just shattered. But it's not an attacker. It's a muffled scream for help. A kid's voice, pounding, coming from inside one of those big football lockers.
The officer pries the locker open, and inside is a 12-year-old boy. He'd been cornered by a man with a knife who was trying to drag him out to that white van. The lockdown had actually trapped the victim with his attacker. Luckily, in this case, the suspect was identified and arrested about a week later.
All right, our final story. This one takes us to a place pretty much all of us have been, a hotel. A young woman is visiting a college by herself, and she hears the hotel's lockdown alarm go off. At first, she just thinks it's kind of strange, maybe even a little exciting.
So you have this alarm blaring, a light flashing, and some recorded message telling everyone to stay in their rooms. But she's not really scared, just curious. She starts getting ready for bed, watches a little TV, and then the room phone rings. It's the front desk.
And this is the moment her entire world just turns upside down. The voice on the phone is not calm. The clerk doesn't explain the alarm. Instead, she says there is someone else in the room with her and she needs to get out, right now. She just drops the phone. Her heart's pounding, she checks under the bed, in the bathroom, nothing. And then she sees it. The sliding closet door, it's open just a 20 crack, and through that crack, a face is staring right back at her. The door slides shut, she just runs for her life. The police later removed a man from her room who had apparently been in there watching her for over an hour.
So, 3 different places, 3 completely different scenarios, but they're all tied together by one terrifying theme. What do these stories really tell us about what it means to be safe?
When you look at them side by side, in the high school, you had an armed man roaming free. In the middle school, a kidnapper had his victim cornered. And in the hotel, an intruder was hiding in plain sight. In every single one of these cases, the lockdown protocol actually helped the threat by keeping the victims right where they were.
These are supposed to be our safe spaces, right? A classroom, a locker room, a locked hotel room. But what these stories prove is that safety isn't just about walls and doors. That whole idea of a secure perimeter, it's meaningless if the danger has already crossed it.
And that really brings us to the final, unsettling question. I mean, we rely on these procedures to keep us safe from what's out there. But what are you supposed to do when the call is coming from inside the house? It forces you to rethink what safety even is. Maybe true security isn't just about locking the doors, but about knowing who's already inside with you.